Good afternoon, everybody. I guess that week is finally here. It's Army Navy week. So just the excitement of this game, the pageantry, the history. It's an incredible rivalry, and to be completely embedded in it as we are as competitors, coaches, and players, and everybody associated. Um, just an awesome feeling to be a part of a game like this. It's obviously a huge game for both teams. It means so much to the academies, to the graduates, to the men and women that serve in the respective branches, but none more than the guys that are going to be playing in the game. And so it it's exciting to be here, but we know that there's so much to be done. The preparation, the practices, the meetings, the all of the things that go into having a team prepared to play their very best football in this game is what is really important. And so we're working, as hard as we can. We did all last week and have been this week, and we'll continue to prepare for our biggest game of the year. And our guys are working hard. They're excited for the opportunity, to play on a national stage like this is really rare in college football. There's not very many players that get an opportunity to do this, and probably not very many people in any sport that get a stage like this. So for our guys and the thrill that is, one of the reasons they came here is to be a part of this big game and this great rivalry. And as I said, the important part is being prepared and trying to play our very best, which we will. We're going to have to. They've got a great football team. They're very well coached, extremely talented, and certainly what they've done this year and last year, just really, really impressive. So we know it's going to be a great challenge, but that's what sports and competing is all about. So looking forward to Saturday and just the opportunity to be there and be in that ball game.
To kick us off, Rich DeMarco.
Yes, Rich DeMarco, Army Radio. Jeff, for a week that you're going into a game, obviously, I'm sure you have a schedule of how you prepare and getting to know the team, seeing film. For a team that you know about all year, all season, how much different is this game week of prep than if it was a random team during the year that you had to, learn a ton about?
I think just the emphasis that's placed on this game throughout the year, um, and certainly from a mental and emotional standpoint, that this game is thought about far more than just the days leading up to it, whatever prep time that is. This year, being 2 weeks, and last year being a week to prepare for the game. We've often had multiple weeks to get ready for the game, and there's certainly a huge emphasis during that time. It's all about uh, trying to beat Navy. But throughout the year, whether it's in spring practice or our preseason camp, we dedicate time to these games. And our academy opponents are different. Defending them is different, um, because they know us so well. Trying to have a game plan prepared on offense is different, and so it's an effort throughout the year. Um, it's not something that, every single day of every single week, it's completely dedicated to this game, but there are moments in practice and times throughout each week that we'll we'll have things sprinkled in, and maybe our players don't even know that we're just practicing a certain front against our offense, or throw a play in on on our defense that just kind of has them thinking about it, has them prepared for it, uh, because there's nothing like playing in this game, Rich, and you've been here for a lot of them as I have, and the execution of the assignments and fundamentals is what wins football games, and it's the same in this game. So, to to your point, um, there's time spent throughout the year, but these last couple of weeks leading up to it, I mean, it's full throttle, and I think our guys are, they're really dialed in and getting prepared.
And Jeff, last one for the younger players, how critical is it, and maybe it's up to your seniors to really manage the excitement and the emotions? Because as you said, it comes down to executing and X's and O's.
It's the first time for so many of them to be a part of the game, and it's exciting. It's a huge rivalry. They know it. Um, if they didn't have a great feel for it before they got here, they certainly do once they're here and they're part of the program. Um, pardon me. I think just the intensity of our older players and the staff, our younger guys realize what a big game it is. And for so many of them, um, they're in a role that may not be as prominent as their teammates that are juniors and seniors. And it doesn't mean we don't have some young guys playing, but so many of the young guys in our program are playing on the scout team, and we just stress the importance to them of doing their job all week and trying to simulate the other team's offense and defense as they do for every opponent. But just the sense of urgency to do that really well this week. And I think our guys, they grasp that.
Thanks, Coach.
Jackson Wayne, Spectrum News.
Hey, Coach. Joe Allen's going to be playing his first Army-Navy game in his career. What's been your message to him this week, last week, getting ready for this big game Saturday?
I just let him be. Let him get prepared, and he doesn't need me to tell him what a big game it is or anything like that. It's a big game, but he's got to do his job just as all of his teammates do. So, everybody plays in their first Army Navy game at some point, and this will be his. And Coach Worley's doing a great job of having him prepared, and it doesn't it doesn't the game itself doesn't change the job that he has to do. And so we're just going to try to have him prepared and his teammates prepared to play their very best, as best as they possibly can. I'm sorry, you said what kind of challenge? Well, gosh, I mean, challenges all across the board. Um, they got the player of the conference on defense, Robinson, who's a terrific player, had a great game against us a year ago, and has in this game's played really well. But he's one of the best interior defensive linemen in the country. They play really fast. Um, they're skilled and very physical on defense. Very impressive unit, very well coached. And you watch them play against other people. I mean, good teams have a difficult time moving the football against them. The last game they played against Memphis, that's a high-powered offense, and I saw where they had held them to under 20 points for the first time in 52 games or something like that. It's pretty impressive. Offensively, can't say enough for the skill that they have in that unit, starting with their quarterback, the Heidenreich kid, the slot, Teska, the running back. They got really good speed, and they're the nation's leading rushing unit. So they run the ball very effectively. But what they've done in the passing game and being able to hit big plays in a passing game, those are big challenges for us. They're really good on their kick return unit. Been very productive on their kickoff return team. So, I mean, there's a lot of things. They're a good football team. They're ranked in the top 25 for a reason. They've won a lot of football games, and they're an outstanding team. And it's going to be a huge challenge for us. Thank you.
Ken?
Hey, Jeff. Yesterday, Coach Newberry in his press conference said he's pleased with all phases of his team. He likes what we're doing, and we're in a good place. What about the Army big picture? How do you feel about those same things?
Well, I think we're getting there. Again, we've got the rest of this week to practice. Uh, our guys are excited about the opportunity to play. They'll be prepared. our coaches are they're putting together a game plan, have a game plan that we've been implementing and practicing that I think will give us the best chance, and that's our job as coaches to put those guys in position and let them go play the game. And so, what I've been really pleased with our team uh, in 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 the fact that know we've had some disappointments over the course of the year. We've had some setbacks, uh, but never have I felt like our guys wavered from their commitment to improving. Um, just always have come back the next week and they're fighting and giving their best effort. We practiced well. I think we've improved as a team, and we've had some setbacks, toward the end of the year. Obviously, the loss to Tulane. That's a good football team, and we had them on the ropes and just couldn't finish it. But we answered. We came back and got a victory the next time out. We had a very disappointing loss against Tulsa. Pardon me. But we're able to answer with a great win at UTSA, and I think that's just speaks to the fight in our guys that they've continued to play and continue to have a great spirit about winning, and so we've got to carry that into this week and carry that into the game on Saturday and keep that fighting spirit and make it a great game. I hope we can.
Jeff, your peers, your defense is pretty much the healthiest it's been in weeks. Would you agree? And what does that mean for this game?
Oh, I'm glad to have some of those guys back. I mean, we've got the typical, game 12 bumps and bruises that probably aren't going to go away. But some guys that have been out and maybe missed time are finding their way back into practice and will be prepared for the game on Saturday, and that's certainly encouraging. We're going to need everybody we've got, so I'm glad that those guys are getting healthy again.
Jeff, a majority of these games of late have been really low scoring affairs. Navy held under their average, Army held under their average. Do you anticipate something similar this week, even though it appears both offenses have kind of opened things up, made the opposing coaches think a little bit about what may happen?
I can never tell in this game, but I don't know what to expect in terms of a score. Our games have been low scoring, and there's I mean, I don't know if we've had a game in my 12 years here that at least on our part has been high scoring. They beat us pretty good in 2019. They beat us pretty good last year. But they've typically been very close games, a lot of one-score games coming down to the last drive. And if history repeats itself, then maybe that's what it'll be. I don't know. Like I said, they got a great football team. I hope we can hang around and slug it out good enough to be there and have a chance in the end. And that's the way these games have been, and the ones that we've won, that we've been victorious in. It's a last drive deal, whether we needed to make a stop or we needed to make a score to win the football game. So, um, it's just two teams that really want to win so bad. And I know that all the competitors out there are going to be fighting as hard as they can. Like I said, I hope our guys fight hard, but I hope they play well and play well enough to put themselves in position.
You good, Ken? We'll go to Zoom. Joey Acano, kick us off.
Good afternoon, Coach Monken. I had the opportunity to speak with both coordinators, Coach Worley and Coach Woody, and they both mentioned the importance of being successful in the red zone. Obviously, that's important in any football game, but specifically, how important is it for your guys to get touchdowns and hold Navy to field goals? And is there something you guys didn't do that well last year that kind of caused the reverse of that, or did they just out execute?
In low scoring games, as these have been, typically, it's really important to get 7 points on offense and try to hold the other team out of the end zone and force them to three or less when we're on defense. I think that therein lies so often the difference in these football games. And last year, they outplayed us. They outplayed us, and outplayed us, outcoached us. It's my responsibility to have our team ready, and we weren't ready. They were much more prepared and did a much better job. So this year, I hope that'll be different. I hope we're better prepared. I hope that we as coaches will put our guys in position and that they'll execute. And so we all have a responsibility in it, and having a plan when we get to the red zone, and we work on those situations very often. I mean, just I don't know that we dedicate a red zone period, extensive red zone period every single day. There's a lot of things to work on, but certainly we work on red zone. We red zone Skelly, where we're throwing the ball down there close to the goal line, and our defense gets in the red zone every day and works red zone Skelly and red zone run game. Um, so there's certainly an effort and a dedication to that, and I think probably every team does that. And so hopefully we'll find ourselves being more successful this year in those areas than we were a year ago. They did a better job in the red zone than we did. That's clear just watching the game from a year ago.
And then my follow-up and final question, Coach. With the backdrop of kind of the current college football culture and landscape, NIL transfer portal, we've got whole universities and teams opting out of bowl bids now and declining bowl bids, and everybody's so focused on the 12-team playoff, and it seems to be playoff or bust. How counterculture is the Army-Navy game, and how important is a game like this in the college football landscape?
This game will always be important to America and to college football. It is so unique. Just it always has been, even before rev share, NIL, transfer portal, playoff. Um, it's always been important, in my opinion, and always will be. And we'll kick that thing off on Saturday afternoon, and over the course of the 4 hours, there'll be maybe 10 million people that'll tune into that game at some point. It's pretty incredible. And there's not a lot of college football games that are played the entire year that have that kind of an audience. So it's a big game. Um, it is for pure pride. There is nothing selfish about this game. It's not about a particular player. Um, it's not about compensation. Uh, the only compensation, the only reward that's being sought is a victory, and and it's awesome to be a part of that. But I do believe, and I know that there's a lot of discontent people about uh, the state of college football, or there's a lot of chatter and a lot of noise out there about all of it. But college football is a great game. It still is, and there are still competitors every every Saturday, every weekend in the fall that line up to represent their schools and take great pride in that and play with their teammates who they've developed a fondness with and a brotherhood and a bond with. That's college football. And I think it's a unique game in all of sports. Just the the difference between a defensive lineman and a kicker and a quarterback and a linebacker, and the skill sets that they have and the jobs they have to do, and that everybody on the team, the kickoff team, the defense, the PAT protection team, they all have different roles and different jobs, and it's a very complex game. But all those competitors need each other to do their job in order to win, and it's what makes it a great game. And so there are teams that play every weekend that play in rivalry games and play with great pride, and certainly I think this game's played with as much pride as any of those, and I hope maybe more. I certainly feel that way, having been a part of this rivalry for so long. Um, but playing college football and having that spirit to compete, I think is what stands out in this game. Our guys are playing for the competition, and with the bowl stuff and teams opting out, and we've seen individual players opt out, and certainly last year in our bowl game we had an opponent that opted out, and we ended up with a different opponent than we anticipated, and I don't know if that's becoming a trend or will become a trend. I hope it doesn't. Um, I think bowl games are great. They're a tradition in college football. It's been long-standing pride for a college team to be able to say we've made a bowl game and play in the postseason. I think it remains important, and I'm encouraged that uh, the majority of the teams are embracing that and playing in games. And those that don't, I know they have reasons for not doing it, and that's their business. That's not mine. But I'm glad to see that there are a lot of college football teams, most of the college football teams that still want to play, have that spirit of competition, and that their student athletes are excited about the opportunity. So who knows what will happen as we dive into the future with an expanded playoff and what that means for postseason play going forward. But I think it's fantastic that that the the bowl season and that opportunities for teams to play in bowl games has expanded. It's not shrunk over the years. It's expanded to give more teams an opportunity because it is a thrill. It still is. Certainly for our guys, and I think for most competitors, to go and play and be on a national stage and play an extra game, and for all that it means for everybody involved. So I hope it'll remain.
Thanks, Coach.
Sal, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, hope you're well.
You too.
I have a question about when did you circle this game on your calendar, and how much did last year's result kind of maybe even more fuel the off-season fire for this team and maybe the preseason fire for this team?
This game is circled every year. It doesn't matter the result from the year before. And as soon as the final cannon goes off in this game, we start thinking about the next one. And and I assure you that it's the same on the other side. That's just the magnitude of this rivalry. So um, losing the game, I think, places a great sense of urgency on not wanting to let that happen again. And it's hard. It's agonizing to be on the losing end of this game, and it is absolutely thrilling to be on the winning side of this game. So I've been on both sides, and I can tell you that being on the winning side's much more enjoyable, and makes the next 365 days or whatever it is more enjoyable too.
This, with that being said, it's a annual game. The days, the countdowns begins probably as soon as the last season ends. You did have the date of the game on the sleeves of the shirts of the players. That's just not the. Did they need to be reminded about that, or what was that?
No, I just think that speaks to the emphasis on this game, the magnitude of this game, the importance of this game to our program and to this institution. It is the game. It always has been, and it always will be. And so there's a lot of teams around the country that have rivalry games, and they've got countdown clocks in their locker room for that game. I'm certain Ohio State and Michigan and Alabama and Auburn, and name a rivalry, they've got a countdown clock, and people are paying attention to it, and the same with us. And so that's just a reminder of the countdown, and that it's an important game, and we don't have to apologize for it. It's a great thing about this route. It's like a whole new season. It's like an entirely different season. This game and this rivalry just stands alone among the other games that we play, and it always has. And for me it's way bigger than any one of us individually. So for me to say it's just another game, or uh, that there's not an emphasis on this, would be doing the game injustice.
One more quick one on a couple seniors, Noah Short and Casey Larkin, maybe what they mean to the team. And, this will be their final Army Navy game, but they certainly have the experience that can help you guys.
Oh, certainly. And there's a lot of those seniors on this football team. They're in that class with those guys that mean a lot to our football team. But speaking to those guys individually, Noah moving over from defense after his freshman year and playing wide receiver in 2023, and really settling in at slot back the last couple of years. He's really played well for us, and has improved, and just become more of a complete player as his career's gone along. And so we'll certainly lean on him and rely on him this Saturday, as we have this season, to make some plays for us. Casey Larkin, I'm just so proud of that guy. I remember him playing as a sophomore and how green he looked, and just watching him on the field, and probably didn't have the confidence that certainly he has now. Wasn't close, but just trying to be aligned in the right place and trying to put himself in position to make a play, and now just I think the dependability that he brings, and what he means to our team, is his toughness and the physical style of play, all comes with confidence, and just his growth as a player. So I'm really proud of both of those guys, as I am that whole class. They've really grown as leaders this year, and have had to take the reins, as all senior classes do, of their team, and they've done a good job.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We're going to do two more and then wrap up. First up, Matthew White, Task and Purpose.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for the time today. Sorry to ask what is probably an old hat question for you, but there's a Congress right now is working with the NDAA to add or to move the cap on professional waivers, so to speak, from 3 per class to 5. I don't know if that number means a lot each year for you, but just generally speaking, having that system in place to have a sort of a waiver built into the system. How does that help y'all? And kind of what's your view on that for bringing in players that you go after?
I'm happy that there's a pathway for our athletes to be able to pursue professional sports, and I certainly think it's appropriate. Um, what's great about the the policy and what they've created is a way for them to do both, to pursue professional sports during their most opportune years. It's incredibly difficult to play college sports, step away from that sport altogether, even if you're lifting and training and doing those kinds of things, and step away from that sport and be able to return and play at a really high level. Um, so I'm glad that there's a pathway for them to from college straight to professional sports, and really continue the development and growth as athletes. And then at the end of that career, however long that may be, that there's a pathway for them to return to the Army, to return to their respective branch of service, and to serve, which they all have a desire to do. If they didn't have a desire to do that, they wouldn't come to school here and stay here, because they all have a chance to leave before their junior year, but they choose to affirm because they do have a desire to serve, which is awesome that we've got young people that want to do that. And I think this is a chance to celebrate the commitment of all of our young men and women that come to the academies, and all of our young men and women that choose a life of service, that you can go compete in the highest level of sports and have a chance to represent those men and women that you'll serve alongside, and for ours that they will lead. Um, I think it's great. And my thought is always, why do we limit it? Why would we limit the opportunities and say it's 3 or it's 5. For any one of our young people that can do that, I think it would be great for them to have the opportunity to pursue that. Because at some point, each of them is going to be done with that sport, and it gives them as I said, a pathway to go back and serve. And imagine going into an Army unit, having played in the NFL or played in the NBA or played Major League Baseball or played in the WNBA or whatever it may be, and the amount of respect that comes with that, and that. So I think you know it also brings light to our men and women that serve, that enlist, and when young people that they grow up watching sports and watching their favorite teams play, and they see somebody that graduated from an academy playing on the highest level and playing on the professional stage, that may attract young people to the armed forces, and say, you know what, that's really cool. That's my favorite player. That guy's, he's playing big time NFL football or whatever sport it may be, and serves in the Army. So I think there's a lot of payoff from that, and hopefully those conversations will continue, and that'll be able to grow even more than it is right now.
Thanks, Coach.
And the wrap up, Christopher, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, this is Chris Heidel from Purpose from Radio in Baltimore. Just talk about that Navy quarterback, because he seems like he's getting better each time they play. So, what did you have to do differently this year to stop him? Because I know last year he got you with that wing T that used to be good in Delaware.
They do a really good job with their offense. Coach Cronick, their offensive coordinator, has done a tremendous job, and he's got a great quarterback. Blake Horvath is an outstanding player. He's been incredibly productive the last 2 years. Certainly this year again, rushing and passing for over 1,000 yards. Um, he's a really good runner. He's hard to tackle, and he does a great job distributing the ball. They've got a lot of playmakers on their team. They're very skilled, very talented team, and he does a really good job of taking care of those teammates and taking care of the ball. And they've got a really productive offense. And for us to say, oh, we got a plan and this is what we're going to do, everybody that has played them has tried to develop a plan for that guy, for number 11, and he gets the best of most of them. And so, for us to be able to do that, we're going to have to execute really well our game plan, our assignments, our fundamentals, and hope that we can slow him down. Nobody's been able to stop that guy, that's for sure. So hopefully we can just slow him down enough.
And my last question to ask you: I know you have that bowl game coming up in 3 or 2 weeks. This is still. I know you guys want to win this game Saturday for Army and for the unit, but also having that bowl game. This is good to see what you guys look like in the next couple of weeks with that game coming up in Fenway Park.
I'll let you know next week after we play this game. I frankly, there is nothing on the minds of anybody in this program but the game this Saturday. People have tagged fights of the century and game of the century. This is a game of a lifetime for us. That's what this game is, the magnitude of it. So we're fully engaged in this game and trying to get prepared for that one. And I'm glad that we get a chance to play an extra game. As I was talking about the bowl games and the whole whole deal with college football and opt-outs and those kinds of things. I can tell you that this team's glad. We're glad that we have an opportunity to play another game. But we're going to think about that one in a few days after we get a chance to go to Baltimore and battle it out with Navy.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great day.